It is Wednesday night, September 7th, 2022. Another brand new episode of the Kicking Out Podcast coming at you. Tanner Lee here, along with one of my, I'm just going to call you a co-host at this point, Austin Shepard, Paul Zartman, a little under the weather, and I think he's just really crying that he doesn't have the big gold. The big gold's been missing from Paul's house for a while, and I had to bring it to my house for once. So thanks, Shep, for loaning it to me for a little bit.
Yeah, I thought I was going to have to get a wider computer screen to fit your head in there.
No, 88 to 55. What happened?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I felt so good about my picks, too. Just, I don't know. The Jungle Boy one really threw me, I guess.
That I hurt on that one, too, and I should have saw it coming. I mean, we kind of talked about the Luchasaurus thing, and I just missed that one and Ricky Starks. I don't know. I guess I kind of got lucky, but you took some chances. I mean, the Athena one was a chance.
Man, I thought if you're going right now with Thunder out, if you're going to promote Jade Cargill, man, this is the time to give her the old rocket.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just confident, and I watched that match, and I was just like, ugh. I'm not going to say they buried Athena, but it was a little lopsided. Let's put it that way.
Oh, I absolutely agree. I mean, their entrance is cool, but in the ring, it was a pretty short match.
Yeah.
What was your take of All Out overall? The show. We'll get into the aftermath of the show here in a bit, but the show.
Well, what happened? The show was okay. There were some high spots when we started the match in that ladder match. Which got me excited. The pre-show actually got me really going. Kingston and Ishii, man, come on.
That's the closest thing to an MMA fight a pro wrestling match can be.
Dude, that was legal assault. I don't know how else you would say that, but that was legal assault.
Yeah.
I mean, I would if I'm ranking the show, I'm in the 7s probably.
That's what I was thinking.
I thought the main event was good. I almost didn't see Punk going over because we're in Chicago. You know, kind of draw that feud out a little bit. But I thought those guys beat the tar out of each other, and it was good. You know, obviously the trios title, we saw that going that way. Yeah, like I said, it was a good show, but for their marquee event, maybe a little bit lacking if I can be critical.
I agree, and it was hard to live up to last year's when we got Adam Cole and Bryan Danielson.
Yeah. Now, obviously, overshadowing everything was the return of MJF. I like the way they brought him back. I hate that they put him with Stokely because you know my feelings with him. But I kind of like the way they brought it back. I like how when he came down and took the chip and just said, I'm going to take this mask off. No, I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, that's MJF. It was like maybe 10 minutes on social media where they were comparing how his ring entrance looked. That's him.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So, again, solid show. Maybe – I don't know, maybe a little let down just because I'm expecting this thing to be completely crazy.
I agree. I liked the MJF stuff. I thought that was good. I loved how they used the voice or the recording. I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
And then, the callback to Punk's ROH days with Snake and the Devil promo, and then MJF saying he is the devil himself. And then when his music hit, man, what a pop.
Yeah. I almost kind of thought, they played, what do they play, a Rolling Stone song?
Yes. Talk about money there. Getting that.
So they played that, and I'm thinking, okay, if that's MJF, we're going to get a new song or new entrance. We're going to freshen him up a little bit. But you talk about the pop when his original music hit. But, Well, I mean, hey, Tony Khan's got more money than Jim Crockett.
Yes, he does, and he'll let everybody know about it. He's not going to take it. He's not just going to sit back and take it.
Yeah, that's for the other part.
And it was like I said, I thought it was a solid show, nothing spectacular, but MJF's return was overshadowed by everything that happened after the pay-per-view and the post-media scrum. It'll be interesting to see if they ever do one of those again.
You got to now.
Yeah. I don't know. Maybe he's just going to pick and choose who he has on there a little better. CM Punk went off, to say the least. I mean, brought up his relationship with Scott Colton, a.k.a. Colt Cabana, called out all three EVPs, Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks, trashed Young Talent, kind of just trashed what the company stands for, really, what the company was built off of.
Well, I felt he trashed every decision Tony Khan has ever made.
And Tony's just sitting there. I mean, you can kind of tell the look on his face, like kind of in shock at times, but other times he's just kind of nodding his head. I'm like, that's probably not a good look. I mean, I'm watching this live time. I'm like, I can't believe what's going on.
Yeah. I started it. I watched it the next day, and I started it right when Punk started. So whoever asked that question from Fightful, I can't think of the guy's name. They talked about him on Busted Open, but they basically said he didn't even bring it up. He started to talk, and Punk cut him off, and that's when the scrum started.
That was Nick Hausman from Wrestling Inc. Punk goes, you used to do improv, right? And he goes, yeah. He goes, who'd you do improv with? He said, Scott Colton. And then Punk just went like nuts. I mean,
right.
So Punk seemed to me he was just looking for a fight.
Yeah, and I know there's been a lot of talk in the dirt sheets over the last, 4 weeks, 5 weeks of, CM Punk just not wanting him in the company, got him fired, yada, yada, yada. But just went off. Actually, the only person that made out well in this media scrum was the damn bakery that he kept there 8 for an hour.
That was kind of annoying to me as just a person watching. I'm like, could you just wait to eat after you're done speaking? He just kept eating while he's speaking. I'm like, that's kind of rude. But Punk was just on when he didn't care. He did say good things about Adam Cole, but that was about it.
He kind of half-assed rubbed Moxley a little bit.
Yeah,
said he respected him.
Mm-hmm.
That's about it.
Didn't respect Hangman.
No, and I think we'll get into that when we get into the Hangman Danielson match here in a little bit. I think there was a punishment tonight, just to let you know. Give me a little bit of a spoiler for ahead. But, yeah, I mean, he just went off. And, man, there's got to be cameras everywhere in this place, and hopefully some of this footage eventually shows. Because, obviously, like you said earlier, we're going to hear two sides to every story. But some of the stuff he talked about, to Tony, and I know we're in a different business where sometimes we don't know real / work.
Yeah, what's work, what's a shoot? Yeah,
we can use those words, but you tell me and I don't care if you're LeBron James. And I'm not a LeBron James fan, but let's just talk about maybe one of the most popular sports icon. You think he can go to Lakers management and talk to them like that?
No.
I don't care how much money he's making. I don't care how good he is.
Mm-hmm.
You think Patrick Mahomes can go to the Chiefs management and say, you suck. Your decision making, you can't manage a target.
Yeah, not without any discipline.
No. So
yeah.
If this was a shoot and Punk was just on his high horse thinking he can do whatever the heck he wants, unfortunately, I think it's going to come back to bite him.
Mm-hmm.
And again, we all go back to his famous pipe bomb, but it's come out in the recent years that the pipe bomb was a work.
Right.
Okay. So he had that pipe bomb cleared by Vince.
Right.
So to think he's maybe trying to do a modern day pipe bomb, it didn't work.
No, and the thing about this whole Punk thing is, I mean, just think a little over a year ago now when he came back and he said all this stuff. Can't wait to work with the younger talent, blah, 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 blah. I feel like he hasn't lived up to anything he said that night. And go back, I don't know, November last year, he and Hangman were seeing Take Me Home, Country Roads when they were in West Virginia. I mean, having a good old time. So something changed. And it kind of, the timeline almost seems like after Cody Rhodes left to WWE, something, I don't know. Something's definitely changed since.
And of course, the internet's gone wild over this last 3 days. You think Cody saw the writing on the wall?
Well, and it was interesting when he sat down on Wrestling with Brandon Walker. He kind of predicted that, the old original AEW guys and the new guys coming up for WWE, how are they going to coexist and get along? So he saw something. Yeah,
and I mean, for the last 5 years, even before AEW, huge fan of the Bucks, huge fan of Omega.
Mm-hmm.
Now, have I ever worked with them backstage? No. Have I ever, seen how they act backstage? No.
Right.
We get a little glimpse into BT, but half of that is a work.
Yeah.
Half of that is just, the real life travel time.
Yeah, and Color's got to edit it how they want.
Right. But obviously what Punk said struck a nerve. Now, putting on my Booker hat,
mm-hmm.
I would sit these group of individuals down and clear the air and then turn around and make money off of it.
Yeah, if they can, they need to. If there's any way to salvage this, and if they can,
yes,
they need to. But I know there's been reports out there. Brian Alvarez of the Wrestling Observer Live said he would be shocked if these talents are in the same organization together at the same time ever again.
True, let alone in the same locker room.
Right.
But I don't know. I thought, and we'll get into the show, but I thought the way Tony started the show this tonight left a lot of open-ended questions. He did not address the elephant in the room. He just based a statement about the belts.
Right.
This is how we're going to do it.
Right.
And everybody have a good night. So
basically what's been, and I'll read the Fightful Select both sides of the story, but the punishment's supposedly coming out. We don't know the term of the expansions, but Kenny Omega, both Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, Michael Nakazawa, Brandon Cutler, Christopher Daniels, all suspended. CM Punk wasn't mentioned at all in the suspensions, which tells me they're still trying to figure out his suspension, or maybe even worse, maybe he gets fired. And who was the guy who
Ace Steel.
Ace Steel, thank you. And he's not on the road either right now, so same thing, no mention of suspension. But
well, he's been a backstage producer for a little bit,
right? Pat Buck also suspended.
Yeah,
whole list of guys, pretty much everybody was involved.
But we didn't know much about Ace Steel until he came out and dropped the F-bomb on live television and got into Punk's face. And I'm like, okay, I kind of like this guy a little bit. Like, he's got some fire behind him. Obviously, he's good at throwing chairs. So, I mean, he could be a very easy disposable employee,
right?
If Tony Khan had to make an example. Now, I still don't. The only thing about Tony Khan is I do not understand his reactions during the scrum with Punk. To me, if it was a shoot and he started saying that stuff, he gave Punk a couple funny looks, but he's still the boss. He could cut Punk off if he wants.
Yeah, he could grab the mic or put his hand on the mic and say, "Okay, we're done.
We're done here. This is not going anywhere positive." He could have stopped some of those questions from the media, not to get Punk going. He could have ended it.
Yeah, he could have. You're right. You're 100% correct.
So, and again, there's the back of my mind going, maybe he realizes, okay, Punk's on a rant. We'll figure this out and make money off of it, not knowing that as soon as Punk went backstage, a melee is.
Yeah. Well, and when I was watching live time, I'm thinking to myself the whole time, like, oh my God, these three EVPs, if they're still in the building, they're going to be pissed off. I mean, I'm thinking in my head, and I'm not even backstage. So, and Punk did say, if you have a problem with him, come say it to his face. And as I'll get into right now, it sounds like that's what the Bucks and Omega tried to do. This is coming from Fightful Select, Sean Russell app and Fightful Select. If you don't subscribe for $5 a month, I definitely highly recommend you doing so. Per the Punk slash Steel side of things, after the media scrum, the Young Bucks approached Punk's locker room, and Punk wasn't answering the door after having been in a long match, bloodied, and finished with an emotional scrum. The Bucks were said to have pounded on the door with claims that they kicked the door down, not super kicked, just kicked. According to Punk and Steel's side of things, Matt Jackson swung first but missed, and Punk responded. We're told at that point Nick was pretty much taking it in. Omega and Steel pushed their way into the room. Steel's wife was in the room, which led to Steel telling people that that's what set him off and made him go ballistic, throwing chairs into biting someone. The claim made from him was that he was looking out for his wife above anything else. From what Fightful's heard, Omega didn't seem nearly as upset initially, but things got out of hand and he ended up being bitten. They're told the fight was a very long altercation and that talk back and forth did not stop after the brawl. There are rumors that CM Punk had injured his tricep during the melee. However, those near him said it happened during a dive that many noticed during the AEW All Out main event. He could be seen icing after the match during the scrum. They haven't been told of any severity, but we're told Punk was hurt going into the backstage fight. That has been confirmed by Dave Meltzer today that they were going to take the title off him no matter what because of injury, which is a whole nother scenario. There are rumors running rampant that Steel and Punk are both done with AEW, but those close to them have said they haven't been informed of that of yet. Virtually all of the AEW roster we've spoken with believe that if Punk and Steel aren't let go, heavy amends will need to be made. So that's one side of things. The other side that came out during Dynamite tonight was the side from the Bucks and Omega. Sources close to the Young Bucks and Kenny Omega's side of things say the Young Bucks went to talk to CM Punk, and as he'd outlined they should do if they had any sort of problem. The claim was that they opened the door, not kicking it in, as claimed by the other side, and before Matt Jackson could say anything, Punk had went off and started throwing sucker punches at Matt's head. Nick went in to intervene, and Ace Steel allegedly threw a chair and hit Nick in the face. The Kenny Omega involvement was said to be him trying to remove Larry, CM Punk's dog, from the situation to help keep him safe because he was barking and going nuts. Their side of the story says that once he handed Larry off, he tried to get Ace Steel off Nick Jackson. Ace Steel bit Omega and pulled his hair. Perhaps the only lighthearted aspect we heard was when somebody joked he got bit and someone assumed Larry the dog bit Omega, only to learn it was allegedly Steel. We'd heard all sides continued shouting with allegations of legal threats from Punk's side. Again, this is one side of the confrontation and categorically different than the one we've heard was shared by Punk/Steel to those close to them.
So where does Christopher Daniels come in at?
I don't know if he was just around there and tried to break things up. I read from one report he went in with the Bucks. So I don't know. And of course, Nakazawa and Cutler are always around those guys. So
yeah, I mean,
I don't know.
I feel like Nakazawa got poked in the eye.
I just laugh about Larry. Omega's literally trying to take care of the dog to get him to safety, and he ends up getting bit.
To me, that almost seems completely way far-fetched of a story than Punk's and Steel's.
I know. I mean, if somebody's telling the truth, somebody's just absolutely completely lying. And I think that's why sources have indicated that they're bringing in a third party to investigate this whole situation.
There's got to be cameras in that arena.
You would think.
There's got to be.
But maybe not in the locker room, though. That locker, I don't know.
Well, when we say a locker room, I'm guessing just like any other higher-end professional wrestling show, a guy like Punk is going to have his own locker room.
Right.
It's not going to be a locker room. It's going to be some type of a converted office. They threw a couch or something in.
Mm-hmm. So what, I guess, if you had a crystal ball, I'm guessing by Friday we'll know of everything. What's your final prediction or final outcome of this whole melee? Which has got the wrestling world just at buzz.
After reading everything, I mean, I don't know. I honestly, with the injury, I bet we don't see CM Punk. If he stays with the company, we don't see him for a year.
I could see it. I mean,
at that point, I think CM Punk realizes how much money he's made in his life, his age, and really contemplates if he wants to make one more run.
Yeah.
Ace Steel, whatever, that he doesn't, and I don't mean to be rude, but he doesn't factor into this.
Right.
I understand he trained Punk, and obviously he was sticking up for that guy, for the guy he trained, or sticking up for his wife. I get that. But out of all the people, if you're going to make an example of somebody, you can make an example of him and not be hurt on television, on the box office, at the ratings. So obviously the Punk or the Bucks and Omega, 30-day suspension.
Yeah.
I mean, what did Kingston get? Kingston got 2 or 3 weeks for slapping Guevara.
Yeah. So if he got that, you have to give them a longer duration.
Give him a month.
Yeah.
I think did they really make Eddie go through a sensitivity class? I heard that. I read that somewhere, and I'm like, whoever had to teach that class, and you get Eddie Kingston in there, I'm going down a rabbit hole right now.
Yeah.
Just because I listened to an interview he did with Busted Open before All Out. If you got Eddie Kingston in a sensitivity class, you drew the short straw. Like, you need to find another profession.
Yeah.
I mean, how bad of a day do you have to? There's not enough Starbucks in the world to get you through a sensitivity class with Eddie Kingston.
To be a fly on the wall.
Oh, I'd pay $19.95 to watch that class. Oh well, but I don't. Yeah. When's Full Gear? October what?
November 19th, I think, or 12th. It's a Saturday, one of those, whatever it is.
Okay, so I see Bucks Omega coming back mid-October to set up some type of storyline to go into Full Gear. So that gives them roughly 30 days. Now, whether they come back for the Trios Championship, or they do something else. But yeah, 30 days.
Yeah, I think that's fair, and we'll see what happens with. I think if anybody goes out of this, gets fired besides Ace Steel, it would be Punk. I don't think the Bucks and Omega are going anywhere.
They're not, but we don't. And I'm not taking Punk's side here. There's two sides of every story, but
as we heard,
yeah, but there's a reason Punk said that.
Yeah. Oh no, I totally agree.
Obviously, there's something backstage he doesn't agree with. Now, does he need to take to a public forum to say so? No. Does he need to do it with the owner of the company right to the right of him, or left of him?
Left of him. Yep.
But man, I don't know. I feel like they pulled the curtain back, and all of a sudden, this public forum was real. All of a sudden, he's been getting trashed about Colt Cabana, so he's going to address that. He made a comment about Hangman Page, which shocked me. That if anything shocked me out of anything was the Hangman Page comment. And then he stows in the EVPs, which there's only 3 EVPs now because Cody's gone.
Right.
So obviously he's upset with something they have done. And the only thing I can think of on screen that we would notice, and our boy old James Cornette pointed this out, the Bucks ran from FTR with the tag belts. Right now those guys are, literally the best in the world. And when Cornette says that an AEW wrestler or / tag team is the best in the world right now, you know how much that probably pains that guy because he just hates AEW. So
yeah,
maybe he's upset with that. Maybe he I don't know.
Yep.
And there's probably more stuff that even the dirt sheets can't even wrestle up.
It'll be a dark side of the ring someday.
Oh my gosh, there's so many good Dark Side of the Ring parodies.
There's some good ones out there today.
Put together and hit today, and it was just awesome.
Yep.
But you're probably right. Yep. This probably will be a Dark Side of the Ring.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's this generation right now, Brett and Sean moment. We haven't seen anything like this for a long, long time. So, Yeah, we'll see how it all plays out, but it got a lot of eyeballs. I gotta believe it did. At least we'll see what the ratings say on Dynamite tonight, because just the unknown going in. Okay, what's gonna happen with the world title? What's gonna happen with the trios? What's MJF gonna say tonight?
What's Max Caster gonna say tonight?
What's Caster gonna say? What's Tony Khan gonna say?
We'll get into that. By the way, they played that perfectly. As much as it pissed me off, they played it perfectly.
Chef's kiss on that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, we started tonight from Buffalo, New York, with Tony Khan addressing the future of both sets of titles, and he confirmed that both the trios and the AEW World Heavyweight title were going to be vacant, not interim champions. So finally, vacant championships. We're going to get undisputed champions. The trios would be decided tonight between the Death Triangle, Orange Cassidy, and the Best Friends. And the AEW Championship will be decided via a tournament that will end at Grand Slam. And let's see if I can find the bracket here. Tonight we had Hangman Page versus Bryan Danielson 3. Darby Allin versus Sammy Guevara 4 is happening this Friday on Rampage. The winner of that will go against Jon Moxley as the winner of Hangman and Danielson tonight. Set to face Jericho next week in the semifinals. No comment was given about the future of the Elite or CM Punk, and it should be noted they were all pulled from the intro tonight too. So
was Malachi, because I think Malachi was in there once.
Yes, and which was reported today by Fightful that sounds like he got his release granted to him.
Yes.
So with maybe some terms on it, it might be that he can't wrestle with any other company till his contract's done, which still has like 4 or 5 years left on it. So
there's also reports that he had some personal stuff he wanted to take care of and needed to get away from the business.
Right. Sounds like he's some mental health stuff going on with him. So if that's the case, I hope he gets better, gets in a good place, and if he wants to wrestle, he comes back, because he's a fun talent to watch.
He is. He's very good.
And I think that's the reason why we saw Sting, Miro, and Darby go over them the other night.
Yeah.
Because I thought you had that pick in the bag. I was surprised I pulled that one out.
He doesn't lose ever.
No, he doesn't. MJF came out then to a big pop. I loved how he began this promo.
I did.
Moxley came out. Oh my gosh, he was acting like a baby face, wearing the Josh Allen jersey, pumping up the bills. You knew where it was going.
The best part was he ran over to Taz, gave him a hug, and then gave the double bird Excalibur. That made me laugh uncontrollable.
Well, did you see the kind of shots at Punk he took? Leaning back on the fans, getting down on his knees in the ring. Yeah. So taking a few shots there, which I thought was good. He's playing up the baby face, but then Mox comes out, and Mox says MJF's full of crap. And then MJF turns on the crowd and trashes the Bills, calls them the worst football team in history, trashes Josh Allen, takes the jersey, wipes it between his legs. So normal service resumed. MJF said maybe he doesn't care about AEW and the world titles, nothing more than a bargaining chip for the bidding war of 2024. So we're back to bringing that up. Maybe he takes the title to a real wrestling company with real wrestlers like his best friend or roller coaster Cody Rhodes. He brings out the best for business line. He says he might go work for the only con worth a damn. And he talks about his personal hero, the Game. Moxley says this isn't the time or place. He's not in the mood. So MJF needs to leave the ring or he will make him. MJF retreats to the back. Moxley then says his music sucks. Says he's pissed off about many things, none more than the fact that he has no title. He then passionately talks about what the title means to him, and he says it's his fault he lost. He's supposed to be on vacation right now, which is a shoot, by the way. He's supposed to take some time off. But he has another shot with the tournament, and it's time to be a legend. Jon Moxley is the face of the company, man.
Yeah, like you said, he's supposed to take some time off. Obviously, this happens. Tony Khan calls him. And that you talk about a guy that there's probably a couple other guys that would have said, nah, you got a locker room full of dudes, figure it out. But this guy said, okay, I'll cancel this. I'll make a run.
Yep.
And this is leading up to it, for the next month and a half. Obviously, he's going to be pretty busy. And then mid-October, he's got a big GCW match against Nick Gage, career versus title. I think he'll finally drop that.
I think he's got to, yeah.
But I'm just saying, you're going to take some time off, rest up, and then you're going to have this deal, which we know that match will be stupid.
Mm-hmm.
There won't be any blood or anything. Don't worry about it.
No, not at all.
But I'm like, okay, this guy's willing to step up and say, instead of taking 2-3 weeks off, healing up, resting up, family time, getting your mind right, there's all that stuff. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep the week going, That's a company, man. That's a company, man. It really is.
And I thought two guys that came out of this whole thing over the weekend looking good, him and Chris Jericho. Because Jericho, they said, handled things great during the media scrum and afterwards and everything. And it was reported by Fightful today that Chris Jericho, Moxley, and Bryan Danielson led a meeting today with the talent, referees, coaches, etc. So,
and I think if I look, Jericho goes on tour, a mini tour with Fozzy, starting at the end of this month, and it runs through like Thanksgiving. So again, a guy that's going to take some time off and obviously prepare for that. He's going to give it another week or two.
Yep. So good stuff out of MJF and Mox. I mean, MJF's got the poker chip. He can challenge for that title anytime he wants. I still got to think he's got to weasel his way in the Grand Slam. If not, then he's definitely got to be the next opponent at Full Gear for whoever wins.
I think you're right on that. The poker chip does not act like the Money in the Bank where he can just run down and do it anytime he wants.
Correct. No, I think he has to say when he's gonna.
Right. So I could see him holding that on, and I could see him using and he dropped the line. The bidding war of 2024. Which what else will happen in 2024? We got a presidential election.
Oh, that's true.
I can see him intertwining that.
Yeah.
Whether he does stay with AEW or not, I believe deep down he will.
I do too.
I believe Tony will pay him because he's 20-some years old and
he knows how valuable he is. I mean,
yes, yeah. I mean, when AEW started and there was already dirt sheets talking about Vince McMahon really interested in this guy, that says something.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to play this. He's going to make money off of it, and like you said, I think we'll get a. He's going to run this like a presidential campaign in 2024. Like I'm already excited about him making fun of political commercials and stuff. And
well, he did it in 2020, if you remember right, during the pandemic, Aaron Daly's place when he was going against Moxley. He did everything was against Jonathan Moxley. Yeah.
And he called him Jonathan again tonight.
He did. It was a good callback.
God,
he is money. He is.
So
he is.
But I thought that being that the opening segment tonight, I loved it. Did you know he ripped the collar or the cuff, the wrist cuff on his shirt. He couldn't get it off. Then
told the crowd to shut up.
Yeah, he played the other cuff. He couldn't get his arm out. I love that. Yeah, the guy's $1 million. He really is.
And I'm thinking, if not Grand Slam in 2 weeks when he gets involved, I think it's Full Gear because Full Gear's in Newark. He's a Long Island boy. Pretty close to home there.
Yeah. The only thing being that is you're going to have my prediction is Danielson and Mox for that bracket. They win that, and then a month later drop the title. I
know. Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't see that. I don't like that. I don't like a guy winning and then dropping it a month later.
No. It's a good point. Good point.
I think he will draw this poker chip out all the way till maybe All Out next year.
Could. He could. It'll be interesting to see what he does. Somebody needs to draw it out eventually because usually it's like the next week they have a title shot. Then they lose. So, backstage, we see the Dark Order shown, but Jose appeared and wants Tin to sign a contract to work with Andrade. They fight him off until Andrade and Rush appear, and then the tension continues between them all. I don't know. Didn't get much out of it, but
yeah, I like Tin.
I do too. I think he's got a lot of potential.
I want to see more of him.
Yeah.
A 10 and silver tag team would be very, very entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
You got the comedy, plus then you got the brawler.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Yeah, I think he's underutilized in Dark Order. I really do.
Sure.
So I mean, really the last time we saw him was when Mox just bloodied the heck out of him before Mox went to rehab.
It's true. Yeah.
I mean, I can't think. I'm sure he's been on some dark matches or whatever. But
yeah, that's
the last time I remember him on some major a match on major television.
Yeah, it's been a while. That's for sure.
And the guy can go.
Oh yeah, I mean he's still a little green, but he's getting better and better all the time. Then we got the Trios Championship match, Death Triangle versus the Best Friends, Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends, I should say. And this was a good match. This was a fun match. I was surprised by the outcome.
I wasn't.
You weren't?
I wasn't. Just because I don't think you can have this Death Triangle take another loss. These guys are over. They're athletic, high flyers. But I can't stand Knox, the official.
Yeah, he's the worst.
I mean,
it's part of his gimmick now.
Yeah, but there was one point where they dragged him over to make sure they had the tag right before the finish. Like, no, you haven't enforced it in the last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Anyways, but yes, these guys were good. They worked well together. But Trent, I think Trent could be a single star.
I do too.
I mean, he's got the build. He's got the ability. He can talk a little bit, but man, I think Trent could be on his own.
And I'm not the biggest Orange Cassidy guy. I've been on record saying that, but I thought this was the time they were actually going to finally give him some gold. But instead, they went with Death Triangle, who, I mean, the end of the match was fantastic, hitting triple Canadian destroyers, and then Phoenix stomped Taylor down on the mat from the top rope, and then and he took the rest out, and then Pac nailed the Black Arrow, which was one of my favorite moves in all of professional wrestling. And so now the Lucha Bros have been tag champs. Now they're trios champs. And Pac's not only the all Atlantic.
Yep.
All Atlantic. I always want to say all Pacific. All Atlantic champion, but he's also a trios champion. So double gold for Pac. Good for him. One of the AEW originals.
I think those three guys deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they put it on the line every week. They take more risk than anybody. I do enjoy their matches. I know some don't, but I do enjoy the quick action, the high flying stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I got an email, I think, halfway through the show tonight, maybe right after they won the Trios Gold. And I was going through it before you sent me the email. Warrior Wrestling, which is in our area, their next Warrior Wrestling is Lucha Bros versus Briscoes.
Oh my God. That's just stupid.
Yeah. I think it's up around Chicago.
It's their anniversary show, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah.
That's their headline right now, Lucha Bros versus Briscoe. And I think you can buy a lower level seat for like $15. So,
you won't find much of a better match for that price.
Yeah. So I thought it was quite coincidence that right after they won gold that Warrior Wrestling sends out that email.
Yeah, pretty smart there. Smart little marketing.
But good for them. I think they will do well. I think that'll be a tough trios to beat. It's going to take a FTR Warlord type team.
Oh, I like that thought.
Yeah. It'll take a team like that to take the belts off these guys.
Well, and this whole trios thing's been screwed up. Of course, the Elite taking the titles off them with the vacant titles, but with I'm just going to call them Undisputed Era at this point. That whole scenario getting screwed everything. You know, Adam Cole and Kyle O'Reilly got injured, which I don't know if you saw this. This is totally overlooked. Kyle O'Reilly had neck fusion surgery.
Yeah.
He's going to be out for like a long time.
2 or 3 days ago, right?
Yeah, he's going to be out for like a year.
Yeah.
And then Bobby Fish is not going to be with the company anymore. So we're never going to get that Elite versus Undisputed Era storyline, unfortunately, that they kind of built up turning on the Bucks. But
Right. And they also made a comment that Adam Cole was supposed to be healthy enough to participate all out, which he was one of the top runners for the Joker.
mm-hmm.
I'm kind of glad he wasn't.
Yeah.
But so, what do you do when you bring him back?
I think you got to get him in a storyline with Omega somehow.
Yeah, you have to.
Especially now that the trios is going to kind of probably go to the background for those guys in a little bit. I don't know. I'm glad I don't make some of these decisions. Tony Khan's got a tough job.
I'd drink a lot more than Tony Khan does if I was.
I think he does quite a few things. I don't think he sleeps much. Let's put it that way. With his Fulham job and his Jaguar job and AEW, I don't think he sleeps much.
He should be fired at his Jaguars job.
Oh yeah, I mean his dad should sell the team. That's what should happen, but it won't.
He really needs the money.
Yeah. We then got the women's match tonight, Toni Storm versus Penelope Ford with Kip Sabian. But before that, a clip shown from backstage at All Out where Jamie Hayter argued and walked away from Britt Baker. I think we're finally going to get that split that we've all been waiting for.
Yeah, I agree. And I think those two could do a really good job in a storyline together.
I do too. The IWC loves themselves some Jamie Hayter lately. So, for many reasons, it looks like. This was a pretty fun match. New interim women's champion Toni Storm got the win with a when Penelope Ford tried to hit a Northern Light suplex, she countered it and got the pin. It was interesting to see Kip Sabian come out alongside Penelope Ford just with the box on his head and everything again. It's been a while.
I mean, I know it's been a while since they've been together. I know they're married now, right?
Yeah, they are.
I mean, Kip Sabian over Joey Janela? Come on. I don't know. But anyways, to see him not just sitting ringside with the box head gimmick and actually coming down with the box on, I don't know.
Another Dynamite with no Jade Cargill anywhere. I don't get it.
Yeah. Again, I don't know how you push her right now unless you get her in the title, the main title scene.
Well, I really think at this point, I mean, I think I made reference to this last week. I think eventually she unifies both titles together because I just don't see another woman taking that TBS title off of her unless maybe eventually it's somebody she's already beat. But
I noticed one thing at All Out. You notice after she won, they put the Undertaker 32-0, 36-0 gimmick up on the big Titan. I know it's not a Titantron, but it's a Titantron. So to me, it's like she's going to, at this point, if they keep doing that, she's got to win the women's title and then just drop the TBS. I don't want to say shit on it, but
yeah, you don't want her to say that this is beneath me or anything, but
and then obviously we have a tournament for that, but I mean that to me that's lazy booking, but
I mean that title's been around for almost a year now.
Yeah, and that's kind of if we go back to that's my theory on starts, like to get the FTW title off of him is just to elevate him to go in this, and then we get him buried by Hobbs. So what the heck do I know?
Which that match, Fightful Select once again reported that match was shortened. It was supposed to be longer. It was shortened due to some overrun and some other matches. And they did report before the show that Powerhouse Hobbs was in for a real push. I still didn't think that meant that he was going to win. I just thought he looked real strong, but he pretty much squashed Ricky.
I don't know. I think Ricky's way more marketable than Hobbs, but
I agree. I think you can push them both in different ways, but
you could, but
and maybe Ricky eventually gets his revenge, but
I don't know. Maybe Ricky had a 7-day cruise in the Caribbean scheduled this week. So.
We then have the Acclaim come out crowd pop, maybe the pop of the night. These guys can do no wrong right now.
Right.
Max Caster's listen, he's ready to hit his rap, but then Swerve Strickland makes his way out. Everybody's booing him. He asked Buffalo if they wanted to hear more corny rap jokes. He says he has a joke for them, which is the Acclaimed as tag champions. Billy Gunn then cuts him off and says this isn't his house no more. It's Daddy Ass's house. As Bowens then says at AEW Grand Slam, the rematch is happening, and they're taking the gold home. They got to pull the trigger in 2 weeks, right, Chip?
They do.
They got to do it.
after that pop, and then obviously Swerve I get as a heel, but Keith Lee, everybody likes Keith Lee, and the way he talks, he's just so laid back,
so mellow. Yeah.
I don't see Keith Lee as a heel at all.
Nope.
They gave us a couple teases at All Out about them two turning on each other. They missed a couple spots and super kick here and super kick whatever. So yeah. I mean, if we're predicting that could be one of a very high point total, because I think that those belts will change. But looking at the big picture, can you have two faces, as in FTR and the Acclaim? Because they've turned the Acclaim into a big face team.
Oh yeah.
How do you handle that?
That'd be a fun match, but yeah, I don't know how he handled that. I guess you keep them apart for as long as you can.
Well, I almost think we get after All Out, and this is again completely off subject. I almost think with the Motor City Machine Guns and Impact.
Yeah.
Do we put the Impact titles on FTR before we go to the AEW ones?
Why not? Give them a run with something else for a little bit.
What else is left mainstream title-wise?
Yeah, they're not going back to WWE to get anything, so.
No.
Yep. Yeah, that's that's good. I didn't even think Acclaimed FTR. That would be fun eventually, but how do you do that? How do you get there? Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, you got two faces.
I mean, that crowd reaction at All Out was unbelievable.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought they might call an audible during the match, which I know rarely ever happens. And that Tony Khan would have to get word to the ref, then the ref would have to translate that to the talent, and that rarely happens, but it's happened before.
Yeah.
But man, scissor me daddy ass chant was just legendary from the crowd doing it in the Keith Lee song chant theme. Oh man, that was awesome. Yeah, that was great. We then heard from Chris Jericho backstage. Says Sunday was a gigantic win for him. Claims he has found the fountain of youth, which is why he could beat Bryan Danielson. Says he's the best wrestler and the best sports entertainer ever. That is why he will beat Danielson again next week, which I couldn't believe he said that. I'm like, well, he just spoiled the match.
Yeah, I got that, and I'm like, he wasn't supposed to say that.
Yep, I was like, that's a slip. He said he will win the AEW World Championship because this is his company and his effing locker room. He says he has two little brothers, and one of them is Sammy Guevara, who's in the Tournament of Champions, and the Spanish God claims he will beat Darby Allin. Don't think that's happening, Sammy. Jericho's other brother is Daniel Garcia, and he said he will win tonight, but they're going to leave him alone to do it alone. Guevara then brands about how sexy he and Chris are.
So. I want Guevara to win. Here's my reason why. I want Mox to bloody Guevara and just send him packing. I got him under my skin so bad. Which, again, he's doing his job. He's a heel.
Yep.
But I cannot. I mean, I get to the point now where I almost can't even watch his vlogs.
Oh, I've stopped watching them, Chip. They used to be my favorite vlog out of all the AEW vlogs, and I can't watch them anymore.
They're so bad.
I know. I can't.
So put him over on Darby. No offense to Darby.
Yep.
And then just have Mox bloody the living tar out of it.
Which that'll be a fun match. I mean, the 3 matches these guys have gone against each other before have been great, so it's going to be fun. Rampage's car is looking strong. I mean, you got that match. You got Serena Deeb versus Madison Rayne. Got Samoa Joe's going to speak. Then you got the Ring of Honor Championship Claudio against Dax.
Whew. Oh, come on. Don't do that to me. I know I saw that earlier, and I'm like, we got to remember all of a sudden Rampages are going to go live.
Yes, which is, I think, going to be beneficial.
Yes. So they're going to, I feel like they're going to stack them a little bit, knowing that the spoilers aren't going to be out there.
Yep.
So more people will watch. But I saw that tonight, and I'm like, man, Claudio and Dax are going to beat the living tar.
Oh, it's going to be some stiff shots. It's going to be fun.
It's going to be great. Yeah. I know, I mean, if we're predicting, obviously Claudio's going to go over.
Right.
I don't like – Dax has taken a couple single losses. But if he puts on the performance, to me, I know we're getting into the later part of the year. We're in September now. You tell me a more over/better performer in 2022 than Dax Harwood.
Yeah. Can't really think of one.
I mean, Danielson was giving him a run for his money. Then he took a little break. He got hurt. Mox has had a great year. He's put on some hellacious shows.
Mm-hmm.
Jericho's had some hellacious matches.
Mm-hmm.
That's just an AEW.
Right.
Hey, Roman Reigns has had a great year.
Seth Rollins, even though he lost a bunch to Cody, but besides that.
Okay, Cody was on pace.
Oh, he was on pace to, yeah.
Okay. I mean, there's been some guys that it's just been kicking butt.
Will Ospreay.
Oh, man. I don't see how that guy walks. I mean, the last 60 days. Look what that guy's done in the last 60 days. He's worked, 50 days in the last 60 days?
He's a workhorse.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the only thing with Will is he's not on mainstream TV, and I feel like the award always goes to TV guys. So,
and his contract's not up till summer of 2024. I looked that up the other day. Yeah, I looked that up the other day. I was curious.
But New Japan and obviously AEW have a really good working relationship. We'll see him back.
It's just I thought, if it was coming up in 2023, I'm like Triple H is gonna give this guy a blank check to try to get him, but
I don't want to see him there.
I don't either. But
I don't want to see him there.
Yeah. But we then got the TNT Championship match between Wardlow and Tony Nese. Tony Nese didn't get any entrance or anything. Pretty much how you thought this match would go. Powerbomb Symphony, squash, successful defense by Wardlow. After the match, he looked to hit another. Mark Sterling tried to stop him, only to get thrown into the ring himself. But before Wardlow could powerbomb him, Josh Woods pulled him out of the ring. Wardlow then got on the microphone and says he's heard a lot of internet chatter that he's lost momentum. He's the TNT champion, and it's time to remind everybody in the locker room and his fans around the world that this is Wardlow's world. I liked it.
I liked it too because he did lose some momentum.
He did, and it wasn't his fault.
He was overshadowed by the MJF deal.
Yep.
Kind of like MJF was overshadowed by the Punk and Bucks deal.
Yep. So good for Wardlow. I'm anxious to see what's next for him. We then got Danielson. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, you said what's next one? Josh Woods and him. I like Josh Woods.
Yep.
He was really good in ROH. He was on the kind of the pure wrestling side, but hard hitter. He could put on a show with Wardlow, meaning a good match. He could put up some offense against Wardlow because of his size. So maybe we'll see that. But
because I don't see anybody taking that title off Wardlow until sometime 2023.
And the only reason you're going to do that is because hopefully if he continues his push all out of 23, we get a little world championship action with Wardlow.
Yep. And, I was thinking about this the other day. I always like to try to think a year in advance, like who I think could be holding the titles. I wouldn't be shocked if next year at this time, either Ricky Starks or Swerve Strickland's your world heavyweight champion. I think there's that much potential between those two guys.
Swerve, I get. Ricky, after what they did with Hobbs, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was thinking the next step for Hobbs was the TNT title. Though I don't see Hobbs beating Warlord, but
no. That'd be fun, though. That'd be a fun little feud.
I think the last time Warlord lost was Punk, wasn't it?
Yeah, in which he beat the tar out of Punk, but Punk found a way to get it done. So, yep. We then got Bryan Danielson versus Hangman Adam Page 3. This was for the world title wild card tournament match. Very fun match, back and forth. A lot of chops being exchanged. Danielson laid in some kicks. Hangman ate a boot to the face, but then he knocked Danielson off the turnbuckles and hit a springboard lariat to send Danielson to the floor. A lot of things going back and forth. Towards the end of the match, we saw Adam Page hit a moonsault from the top rope to the outside, but then he went for the buckshot lariat. Danielson reversed it into the roll-up, and he bridged to stop Page from kicking out to get the win. So it'll be Danielson versus Jericho again next week, which you got to think Danielson's got to get the upper hand this time.
Yeah. Going back to this match, I almost felt like this was I don't want to say a punishment because that's not the right word, or it's not the way I'm going. But going into it, I figured we'd get Danielson and Jericho.
Mm-hmm.
You know, obviously, Page ruffled some feathers with his promo a couple weeks ago.
Right.
I mean, going back to what you and I talked about for 30 minutes before this started, or the show started. So I knew going into this, even though Jericho let the cat out of the bag.
Yeah.
Page wasn't gonna advance much. So now I don't know where this leaves Page going. But
I mean, he got a nice pop from the crowd. The crowd still loves Hangman, but I'm with you. I feel like he's been kind of just on a lost direction ever since he lost the title. I know they put him in the trios championship match with Dark Order, but you knew the Elite were going to go over. Yeah. I mean, I guess you can continue the Elite storyline with him once they come back, but who knows when that's going to be?
Yeah, like I said, minimum 30 days.
Mm-hmm.
You would think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It could be a 7-day suspension. Hell, I don't know.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
Man, maybe he sticks up for the Dark Order when 10 leaves and they get a little feud with those guys.
Yeah.
10 and Hangman, I think, would be a match I would watch.
Even Hangman and Andrade would be fun.
Yeah. You could even have a trios match, throwing 10 over there with Root and Andrade. So that's probably, if I had to put a bet down, that's probably the next area that you're going to see Hangman and partake in.
You're probably right. We then see Jungle Boy shown backstage. He says he will take years off of Christian Cage's career when he comes back. He also says that while he went to the ring on the shoulders of Luchasaurus, he carried his entire career on his back. And he says sometimes to move on from the past, you must destroy it. I used to criticize Jungle Boy Jack Perry on the mic so much. Now it's one of his strengths. He's improved so much.
200%.
Yeah, I mean, I like this version. I literally think we're seeing a transformation between Jungle Boy to Jack Perry. I'm all about it. And I love what they did with the Luchasaurus at All Out, because we had talked about for weeks, we hadn't seen him lay his hands on Christian, and there was a reason why.
Right, yeah.
So that's going to be a fun feud, and so Christian must be out for a little while.
Yeah, they said he had an injury. That's why the match was short.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, they said that he had some type of injury. He was basically going to work through All Out, and so I don't think we'll see Christian for a while. Actually,
probably not. But Jungle Boy can have a feud with Luchasaurus, and then.
And like you said, I'm with you. I think down the road here in the next week or two, it'll be Jack Perry. It won't be Jungle Boy.
I sure hope so, because I just think he's maturing both in the ring and just with his appearance and everything, and. He can get on from the Tarzan Boy music. I know it's been great since they introduced it, but give him some new music and sell some different type of merch and everything. It's time.
Yep.
It's time. Crowd will be behind him still. So we then got your favorite Stokely Hathaway and his group, who is Lee Moriarty, Morrissey, the Ass Boys, and Ethan Page. They appear and they say All Out was the greatest moment, or he says All Out was the greatest moment of his career. A staff member then tells him his time is up, but Hathaway then dropped him with a shot from the microphone, and the whole group attacks the guy.
Who's the green-haired guy?
That was Lee Moriarty.
Okay.
He just dyed his hair.
When did he dye his hair? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. It must have been recently. So, I don't know. I kind of liked the payoff with that group at All Out. I was like, all right, at least they're going to do something with these guys. It kind of explains what he's been doing with the cards. But we'll see where it goes. I don't know.
They're gonna have a star of the faction. Obviously, MJF would be the star at this point. You would think.
I don't think he's aligned with them though. I think it was just a one night thing. I hope at least. I really don't want him part of another faction.
because I think the star of this faction's got to be Morrissey.
I think you're right. I wish it would be Ethan Page because I really like Ethan Page, but I think you're right. I mean, Morrissey looks like $1 million.
Yeah. So, and they finished the segment with Morrissey with the big boot.
Yep.
So I don't see Morrissey and MJF getting along. So I hope that's separated. I do like Ethan Page, but
I just think he's a guy who ever since he came into AEW's taken too many L's. But
yeah. But if you look at the way they ended their Impact career, Ethan Page compared to Morrissey, didn't Ethan Page have that fight against himself on the green?
Yeah, Karate Man. Yeah. That was fantastic.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Yep. And Morrissey, I don't think's all elite yet. He's kind of, I don't know what kind of deal he has, but
yeah.
We then got the main event. I figured this was going to be a main event tonight since it's Daniel Garcia's hometown of Buffalo. It was Daniel Garcia versus Wheeler Yuta for the AEW ROH Pure title. This was a fun match. These two guys are two of the best wrestlers in the world. Back and forth, we saw Yuta get a warning for a closed fist punch at one time, but the result for this was kind of predictable. We saw Daniel Garcia become the new Pure Wrestling champion once Yuta tried to use Garcia's finisher, but he reverses it and set him into the Dragon Tamer again. While Yuta tried to get out of it, he ended up tapping out. After the match, we saw Danielson make his way to the ring, get shoved by Yuta, who then shakes his hand with Garcia. Danielson then snatches the title away from Garcia, wraps it around Garcia's waist to congratulate him, puts his hand out, and Garcia shakes it as a shocked Chris Jericho looked on as we went off the air.
Yeah, I think they ended this very, 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 very well.
Mm-hmm.
When Garcia got that entrance with obviously a local hometown rapper that I don't know, and they had the crowd with all those guys wearing his shirt and stuff. Like, okay, it's kind of reminded me when Jade Cargill won the TBS title and her daughter. They showed their daughter front row,
right.
He knew he was going to go over, but those guys, man, they beat the tar out of each other. They did it Death Before Dishonor too. And I could watch them once a month.
And that's why I really want to see them team together eventually down the road.
Yeah, I do give AEW a little credit. I was probably 10 minutes into that match going, we haven't talked about the rope breaks because you only get 3 rope breaks in a pure title. And then the 2 warnings for the closed fist, and then all of a sudden they happen back to back.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, all right, at least you guys are doing that.
Yep.
Keeping that intact.
Right. We'll never see Rick Knox referee a pure match.
Oh God, I quit. If that happens, I quit. I'll watch. Wow. Full time.
That's great, but
yeah. Not that Well's bad. Don't give us any hate. I just was thinking of something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did like the match. I think the title change was due. So I think we'll get a rematch at some time between those two guys. He's going to invoke his rematch clause or whatever. But yeah. Yeah, very, very well done. Interesting to see how the Garcia-Jericho friendship moves on forward going into next week when Jericho's got to face Danielson.
Yeah, because I thought he was going to get involved at All Out. I remember watching it with my girlfriend. I'm like, Daniel Garcia, who she doesn't know who he is, but I'm like, he's going to get involved. And then they kept showing him backstage. He never got involved. So I'm like, okay, he didn't get involved. So...
when you say something to your girlfriend, she just looks like she's like, whatever.
She asked me a lot of questions, which I'm fine with answering them, but it almost takes me away from the show because I'm answering so many questions about what's going on, which is fine, but she's trying.
My wife wouldn't care.
She's trying. She made it until the main event and All Out, then she's like, I'm going to bed. I'm like, well, you made it to 11:30. I'm pretty impressed. So, but yeah, no, I thought tonight's show was good. I thought it was a very focused show. I felt like Tony Khan was out to make a statement tonight. Everything was focused, mainly with a lot of young talent, which is I think is good. This whole backstage stuff could be a positive if Tony plays his cards right. I mean, I think they need a refocus, a reshift.
I felt like it was a rally the troops type show.
Put on a kick-ass show for the crowd.
Led by Moxley.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to go rally the troops. We're going to go to this show. We're going to mention it just a little bit, meaning we're taking the titles off of this person. We're taking the titles off of these guys. They didn't say them by name.
Right.
No, their names were never spoken on this show.
I think that's why JR wasn't on commentary.
That's true. Yeah, we didn't see JR at all. Man.
No, I think, and hopefully he's not sick or ill or anything, but I'm guessing they just wanted to play everything pretty safe tonight.
Yeah, so, I mean, you did not hear Omega, Bucks, Punk, Ace Steel. Again, we're not going to see Ace Steel anyways. But the four main guys, you did not hear their names at all tonight. So,
Yep.
Yeah, like I said, Khan rallied the troops, said, hey, MJF, Mox, you're my guys. Go out and talk. Do what you do best, which sometimes I think they do best at talking.
Do you think he sat down with MJF and Caster at all and it was just like, okay, guys, please, just not tonight?
I think he told Caster to write something, read it, and said, look, this is awesome. We're gonna just take a night off.
Yeah, and Swerve, man, he can heal it up.
Yeah. I like Swerve as a heel.
Yep.
Just his look, his cockiness when he came out, man, it was good. Like, I just ruined this for everybody in attendance and everybody on television.
Yep.
And look at me. The camera's on me now. I ruined it for all you. So
Yep.
Yeah.
It was perfect. It was perfectly well done. So much heat. An easy way to do it too.
And it's Keith Lee stayed backstage.
Yep.
So. Mr. Laid Back maybe took a gummy bear from Michigan type guy.
You gotta like Keith Lee.
Yeah.
Rating for tonight's show.
A little bit better than All Out. I'm gonna go 7.9.
7.9. All right. I like that. I think you're gonna go a little higher than me. I'm gonna go 7.6. But still, I didn't know what to think going in tonight. I was like, this is going to be an interesting one. But it was a little slower pace, I thought, than usual. But like I said, I just thought it was very focused. They did what they needed to do. So, and now we'll see. I mean, it's just tough when you have all this distraction when you're 2 weeks away from your biggest Dynamite of the year.
Yeah.
Your biggest stadium you run. So.
But you got to do the Fallout show of All Out is a pretty big show, and what had happened between Sunday and Wednesday to turn around and put on this type of show, I'm going to give you a couple extra bonus points.
Yep.
Good point. If this was in the middle of March and we didn't have the falling out on a Sunday, yeah, sevens.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm going to give you some bonus points because, yes, I tuned in because I want to see the fallout of what happened on Sunday. And they hinted at it at 3 or 4 times in the show, but they didn't get me really what I wanted.
Nope.
They didn't dive into it. And they obviously had some good matches. They kept me entertained. So, yeah, I'll give them some bonus points tonight for what Tony Khan had to go through from Sunday. That's why this 7.9 happened.
Yep, I agree. And I read a tweet tonight which was pretty eye-opening. CM Punk's held the AEW title twice now for a total of 6 days.
Yeah. And
crazy.
They made a comment, and it might have been your boy Sean, about 2-3 o'clock this afternoon made a comment like, hey, look, he's not in Buffalo. He's confirmed to be in Chicago. So
Yep. Yeah, I think he and Ace Steel, I believe, 5-4 reported, were on with AEW personnel at 4 o'clock on a Zoom call. And then the backstage meeting happened at 4:15. So
that Zoom call didn't last very long.
Well, whoever was on that Zoom call might have not been involved in the meeting. So I don't know. I mean, I'm guessing we're going to keep find out more and more about everything here in the next few days. So Twitter's been a wild place. That's for sure. Not that it isn't anyways, but wrestler of the night.
Dax Harwood.
Dax Harwood. Without even wrestling.
No, wrestler of the night. I mean, the easiest one would be Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm actually going to take a little different route. I'm going to go Danielson.
I like it.
Yeah.
Got a big win.
Got a big win. Guy's good. Guy is damn good. I don't know. I'd like to see him and Hangman get a 30-minute match, but
they got a 60 one time last year.
60 one time, but I think I looked tonight. It was 16 minutes, 15 minutes. But,
yeah.
It worked. He's so good. I predict him and Mox in the finals.
I like that too. Yep.
William Regal right in the middle of it.
Oh, he'd be great if special guest referee or something. But I know they never do that. But
they haven't done a special referee
not like an actual one. It's usually MJF or somebody that cards are against Wardlow, or like I think that was against Shawn Spears in that cage match, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, that could be good. But I really enjoyed him tonight.
I'm giving it to MJF. He didn't wrestle, but kicked off the show, got Buffalo in the back of his pocket just for a split second, even though he knew it was coming, and then flips the switch back to his scummy self. So I thought it was fantastic.
And you knew it was coming as soon as he made a comment about, let's talk about the stinky elephant in the room. And he looked at somebody and he's like, I'm not talking about you, honey.
Yep.
I'm talking about you. And he's like, I'm just joking.
Yep. I'll talk to you later after the show. So.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, it's turning here soon.
Yeah, you knew it was coming, but still how he did it was brilliant. I'm like, I've missed seeing this guy on TV the last 3 months, even though I don't agree with, how he handled everything, Double or Nothing, and screwed Wardlow over. But I'm glad he's back.
So with Tony Khan, playing the voicemail, do you think? And I know MJF filmed he was doing some TV show or movie or.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the hell he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
He was filming something.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it was a scheduled break? Again, do you think it was all work? And we talked about this when it first happened. And
I think it was a shoot that got made into a work. I think he was scheduled to take some time off, probably, have Wardlow go over. But I don't know if it was supposed to be a squash like it was or not. Wardlow was definitely going over. We knew he was going to get that All Elite contract. Right. But that's a good question. But to have MJF off for 3 months, and it was just weird how silent everybody was. Like even Sean Ross Sapp would report, like people that talked to Max all the time had no idea what he was up to. So,
which makes me think that him and Tony Khan sat down and said, "Look, here's how we're going to do it.
Yep.
You're going to go radio silence.
Yep.
You're not going to talk to anybody."
Yep.
You can go do whatever you're going to do in Hollywood, which is fine.
Yep.
And I'm not going to bring you up in any media scrum. If somebody asks, I'm going to ignore the question.
Right.
I think they perfectly worked us.
I think you're right. I think, though, there was some real differences. He showing that meet and greet before Double or Nothing. That's something Tony wouldn't allow.
Yeah.
So I think there was legit. I think he legit had a plane ticket. Like he was ready to ditch, and then whatever happened between him and Tony, that conversation is probably everything you just talked about right there.
Yeah.
He got extra money or whatever. They booked it out for the next 3 months.
Yep.
So,
yep.
Yeah.
They sat down and did business.
Yep.
Which might be more of a professional thing than what we saw this past weekend.
Which I want to check while we are still recording here. I want to check if his merch is back up. So I was just curious.
Because they took it down the next day.
Yeah, it was down literally. Like it was up for like a. CM Punk stuff is still up. Just saying. Oh, yep. A new MJF shirt out. The greatest trick the devil ever played, and the devil's in the Burberry font.
Okay, so.
Yep, his stuff is back up.
We got worked.
Yep. Can you guess what the number one top selling item of the week on shopaew.com is?
Number one selling item of the week's got to be a Punk something, right?
Punk's 4th and 5th t-shirts.
Oh.
It's the Acclaimed Scissor Me Daddy Ass t-shirts, number one. And the Acclaimed Micro Brawlers are number 3.
Is that the airbrushed one? Or
yeah.
What's up the airbrushed one?
Uh-huh.
Where's the, I know it's been 2 weeks now. Where's the Fight Like an 8-year-old girl? Is it still top 10?
It is not, but the Living Legends is number 8 for FTR. You got 2 Omega shirts, 2 Punk shirts, Kurashita Shop AEW exclusive figure. You got Blackpool Combat Club's Zippo, but 3 of the top 10 are Acclaimed merch. That's all you need to know about those guys right now.
Yeah. Yeah. They're going to make some money.
Yes, they are. They're entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've paid their dues. I mean, they've been AEW originals, so they've worked their way up pretty good.
That and they've done some independent shows for a long, long time. Good for them.
One thing I wanted to ask you real quick before we go off the air here. Malachi, of course, we were talking about. Looks like he's granted his release. What do you think that means for Julia Hart, Buddy Matthews, and Brody King? You think they still continue with the House of Black? I mean, I hope they still get pushed a little bit.
Yeah, maybe you see those guys as a tag team.
How about adding Butcher and the Blade to their stable? Those are 2 guys. I was surprised. They're Buffalo boys, and they weren't on TV at all tonight.
Right. We haven't seen them in a while.
I know. I know they're not featured talent often, but I still think they're pretty good.
They still can work. I don't know. I don't know what you do with the House of Black.
I don't either.
You had the big Julia Hart thing where she turned on the Varsity Blondes, and then all of a sudden you have her a couple weeks here, and then you can't really dismantle it. Maybe you can. I don't know. Maybe you could have Buddy Matthews and Brody King against the Varsity Blondes again, and Julia Hart's confused because Malachi Black's not there to spit stuff in her face. I don't know.
Well, where's Miro go now? And Sting kind of had a thing with Malachi going too, and
yeah, well, and I've read a lot of things where Miro's not happy.
Yeah. Which I could kind of understand.
Yeah, I know he had a little energy there, didn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He took some time off, so I don't know. I felt like maybe Tony Khan, and I'm not dogging on him, but got too big too quick.
No, I think he grabbed.
Anybody available.
He got money hungry there when WWE was just doing talent cuts, and he was just grabbing every name he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's great to have a deep roster, especially during the pandemic when people were getting COVID and out and all that stuff. But now we're seeing it's not always great to have a humongous roster. It's got pros and cons, I guess. What I'm saying.
Yeah, and again, I'm not harping, but look at a guy like they made a big deal about it at the start because he got the librarian. Look at Peter Avalon.
Yeah.
When we started AEW, like everybody was super excited about him. I mean, I fast forward BTE when he's in there now.
Oh yeah, me too. Me too.
And I know what Tony's original thought of AEW was like, look, I'm going to take all these independent guys that have worked their tail off, paid their dues, and I'm going to give them a shot. And I think he learned real quick that this ain't gonna sell TV. This ain't gonna sell me some ads. This ain't gonna put any money in my pocket. So there's a reason those guys were on the independents for so long.
Right. So I think we might see him halt the brakes a little bit on some new signings for a while. And talent's not coming up as they were.
With H back at the helm, we've seen some guys go back to the E that I would like to see. One of them was Johnny Gargano, obviously.
That would have been nice.
And right now, I really love what they're doing with Dexter Lumis.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
That dude is awesome. So
it's good stuff. I mean, they're doing some good things over there. I mean, I don't always give them credit, but they're doing some good things right now. So they got some good things
They're
going for
doing
them.
a few good things. I'm
Yeah.
not saying.
Oh, they still don't have me tuning in every week, but
I'm not going to sit there and watch for 3 hours. No.
No.
Yeah, there's a couple things,
It's still a good time to be a pro wrestling fan. I mean, there's so many options out there.
We have a lot to watch.
We're spoiled, very spoiled.
Yeah.
So, all right. Any other final thoughts before we wrap this up? We ran a little long tonight. So.
It ran a little long tonight. We started a little later, thanks to me, but that's.
Oh, you're fine. I appreciate you not. I was gonna say allowing me, but not letting me go solo.
Well, it was only my wedding anniversary.
Apologize to the missus for me.
Yeah, but no, after what we endured Sunday and then what happened after Sunday, really happy with the show that AEW put on tonight and the way Tony addressed it. I thought it was very professional.
Mm-hmm. He was definitely reading off a teleprompter. His eyes were going up and then down, up.
It doesn't matter if you even watch him in those scrums. Yeah. I mean, his eyes are.
Well, he's all over the place.
Yeah, and I'm not saying he's on cocaine or anything, but
he might be.
Dude.
I literally think he gets like 3 to 4 hours of sleep a night. I mean, I just think he just works all the time.
Yeah, he's one of those guys where his mind never stops.
Wired. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the product we got tonight was great. The way they handled it was very professional. There was no trashing of anybody. There was no burying of anybody. There was even no name dropping.
Nope. And I wonder if Warner Discovery, how much input they had on this too.
If there's legal action, which I hope there's not.
Yeah.
If there's legal action, then it made it very easy for them. They can't say it. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I don't know if Nick Jackson lost tonight because of a chair. There's probably some legal action.
I mean, it is interesting. He's posted things on Instagram, nothing of his face or anything, but we've seen Matt post a picture of him and his dog yesterday. So
yeah, but I don't know. Again, great show. Thank you. If I had to give a personal thanks, thank you to Mox and thank you to Jericho for stepping up and saying, "All right, boys, I'll take the helm. We're gonna put on a show and we're gonna do what we do." So,
yeah, they're not going anywhere. If the AEW or WWE stands out there hoping Jericho and Mox are coming back home someday, Tony will never let Mox walk. He'll give him a blank check, and Jericho, he just seems to be real happy in AEW, and he's literally a locker room leader right now. So
he's got so much freedom that he's never had before.
Right.
Sometimes that can bite you in the rear.
And Vince isn't there anymore. He used to be one of Vince's guys. Vince isn't there anymore.
And the thing with Mox has taken a lot of shit over the last couple weeks on his ability in the ring, whether it's from Cornette or other people in the wrestling business. And it's just not Cornette, not just picking on that weirdo. But he's taking a lot of stuff. And he says, okay, I'll just put this company on my back right now in a time of need. So very, very unselfish of him. And maybe he should have been the wrestler of the night. I don't know. But looking forward for the next, 2 to 3 weeks.
Yep. It's got to be a lot of good stuff to talk about. It'll be interesting direction.
What do you do? What if you not to go down a rabbit hole?
Keep going.
I'm really good at this. What if you let Jericho win that tournament? Okay. And then all of a sudden Jericho has this Fozzy tour and Jericho just takes the title and you don't see it for a while. You don't see it for a month and a half, I think, is that tour. A month and a half or almost 2 months.
Or Jericho would be the one guy, which I don't think he beats Danielson, but if they did have him do that, and then he goes on and wins the whole thing, he is the one guy I wouldn't mind if he only had a title run of about a month, if MJF takes it off of him.
Well, that's true. Okay. I could see that, or I could see just tidbits of every Dynamite of Jericho sending in vignettes from the latest Fozzy concert with the belt over his shoulder just saying, I'm so good, I don't even need to defend it. I'll see you guys in a couple months type deal.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I still think you're right, though. I think we're going to get Mox and
Yeah.
Danielson. But
there's so much potential now.
I'm still disappointed Eddie's not in it.
Eddie's still on punishment.
Yeah, you're right. He really, we didn't see him at all tonight. And, he's kept quiet on Twitter lately. You think he probably has a lot to say about everything going on.
Did you listen to that interview we did with Bustin' Open on?
No, I've been meaning to. It's an exclusive one I've been meaning to, but I haven't.
I listened to it today, actually, and it was him, Mark Henry, and Dave LaGreca, and it must have been Saturday before All Out. And, again, Eddie was just Eddie. He was talking about he hates Punk. He hates Jericho. He hates Danielson.
He hates everybody.
And Mark Henry says, okay, I get it, man. Why do you hate him? He goes, I'll keep that to myself. He said, but these guys are bitches. He was very, very upfront, but he was like, look, I'm Eddie Kingston in the ring. I'm Eddie Kingston walking down Main Street. He said, when a fan comes up to me now and wants to take a picture, it's weird. He goes, I don't know how to act. So you're talking about, we always look back at Flair. And when Flair did his 30 for 30 with ESPN, he didn't know if he was Richard Fleer or Ric Flair.
Right.
Okay. This guy is on top, a step above Flair. This guy walks down Main Street to go get a pop, and he's still Eddie Kingston, who's in AEW.
You're right.
This guy's nuts.
Yeah, he's got screw loose.
Oh my gosh! And you got to listen. It's like a 30-minute interview. Yeah, definitely listen to it tomorrow. And anybody watching this or listen to this one on Busted Open with Mark Henry and him. It makes me like the guy even more, actually, which would piss him off because to me, if I like him, that means he's the face. And I don't think he wants to be a face, but
yeah. And go back. Speaking of Kingston, and this will be my last thought before I wrap up. Go back and look at the promo he cut against Punk when he and Punk were about to feud at Full Gear. It was on that Rampage. It's just interesting after the events we've seen over the last few days, what he was saying to Punk. Just go back and listen to it. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, calling out, you lose your smile when things don't go your way. Well, it's just interesting stuff. It's like,
And again, I don't think Eddie Kingston's going to come out and say something on the mic that he doesn't believe.
All right.
I almost think the guy is 100% shoot 100% of the time.
We got a comment here on YouTube from John Horton. AEW should push Daniel Garcia and the Acclaimed great young talent. I agree 100%.
Can't disagree with that.
Nope. All three guys right now. I mean, one's got a title, and I think the other two will have a title in 2 weeks. So, hope so at least.
And maybe give Acclaim. So okay, here you go. Give Acclaim the title run, and have Acclaim versus FTR on the first night of Wrestle Kingdom. Wrestle for the AEW title. FTR goes over and then defends the AEW title and maybe the New Japan titles the next night.
That would be cool.
I mean, to have an AEW title match on Wrestle Kingdom at the Tokyo Dome.
Yeah, I definitely think we'll see some AEW talent over there.
Did I see that they're going to go to one night show now?
I haven't seen that anywhere.
Maybe I was thinking something else.
I think with WrestleMania 2 nights, I don't see Wrestle Kingdom changing that.
Okay.
But
I almost thought I read that somewhere, but I could be wrong.
I think Punk, he might have just screwed up any chance he had to go to Wrestle Kingdom. We'll see, though.
Well, if you get fired, you're out of your contract, right?
You're right, but I just meant maybe on AEW's behalf, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Time will tell.
If you get fired, I guess, maybe take a little bit of the prestige away from it.
I think if he's done with AEW, I think he's done with wrestling.
He's probably made enough money where he can be okay.
And we don't know how bad he's injured. I mean, he's got the injury bug. He can't wrestle a match right now without getting hurt. So
well, obviously that's why you don't eat Wendy's pastries on South Brooklyn Street or wherever the hell it was.
Whatever that muffin shop was or whatever, the bakery, they should have opened like right there, because I think they would have got a mass amount of people coming in their doors. So
yeah.
Missed opportunity. Their sales are probably up this week though. So
although FTR Wrestle Kingdom, I will watch that.
There you go. All right, that's gonna wrap it up. It's midnight now, so we ran pretty long. This is probably the longest episode in KOP history, but that's all right. There's plenty to talk about. So for Austin Shepard, I'm Tanner Lee. Follow Kicking Out Podcast on all podcast platforms. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star rating and a review. If you're kind enough, give us a review on there. We like to see what people are saying about us. Follow us on all social media. You can follow me at TannerLee92. Shep's at the Shep27, Paul's at Paul Zartman921, and of course, Kicking Out Podcast on all social media platforms at Kicking Out Pod. Once again, for Austin Shepard, I'm Tanner Lee. Have a great week, everybody. We'll be back next week.
Peace.